Hey everybody, in a couple of live streams lately, people have asked my opinion about 3i Atlas and whether it was A, going to hit Earth, or B, was it going to hit Mars. Now, I'd just like to just point out, I often post videos on here of astrophysicist types like the Angry Astronaut and Stephen Burns because they post some really interesting content, and I like to try to disseminate down to the nuts and bolts of what's going on. It's been interesting following this thing. I'm not an astrophysicist. All I can give you is my opinion based on the research I do. So, 3i Atlas is the third confirmed interstellar object. That's why it's 3i, third interstellar, right? And Atlas was the observation station in Chile that first saw it. And we're trying to understand what it is. Right now, we think it's about a 7 mile wide chunk of ice, and it's going about 40 miles per second. We believe that it originated outside our solar system. It's not bound to our sun. It's on a peculiar orbit, right? It's coming in at 5 degrees off of the ecliptical plane, which is odd. And that's what got a lot of people's attention. It's going so fast. It's so fast that we couldn't really react to it. Like we couldn't have put together a an interception mission. We just couldn't have done it, and it's moving so fast that by the time we even figured out what we were going to do, it would already be gone. And it's coming in at that 5 degrees off the ecliptical plane, which, look, if someone was going to do a drive by and try to survey or contact or whatever, this is where they would probably come from. Also, it comes from that part of the sky where we got the WOW signal. In 1977, somebody saw a radio transmission lasted, I want to say 85 seconds, but because of the rotation of the Earth. And the general consensus was that the transmission could not have been naturally produced. It had to be artificially produced, like a radio signal. And the technician scientist wrote "wow" on it, and that's why they call it the "wow" signal. And we've never been able to explain what that was, why it happened, and the fact that it lasted for the entire window of the rotation, the 85 seconds. I saw in one place it was 78, and another where it was 85. But that time frame coincides with how the Earth rotates and how the aiming of that antenna. And so I think that was like Sagittarius, but that just happens to be where 3i Atlas is coming from. So that's odd. That's odd that it's coming into the ecliptical plane. It's odd that it's coming from that area where we've kind of kept an eye on. And then it's exhibiting things like like we're not seeing iron and we're not seeing water in it. Instead, we're seeing a bunch of CO2. There's all kinds of speculation that it could be a synthetic industrial craft, some sort of probe, some sort of and then that goes in all these different directions. Is it an active probe? Have they figured out how to traverse these long distances? Is this a remnant of a past society? Is this a dead technology? Who knows? And unless we were able to intercept this thing, bring it down to Earth, and study it, like we don't definitively know any of this. But I can tell you that by all measurements and all observations, this is basically an interstellar comet, right? And I mean, I'm completely open to it being anything, but it's confirmation and validation point after validation point that it's a comet, but it's just not acting like like one would that was in this universe or solar system. It's from a different part of the universe that could be materially different and have just been in a different environment, and we're just seeing some of that. It has started to glow green, and that's caught people's attention. They're saying that's from dicarbon molecules that are now visible because ice sublimation as it gets closer to the sun, right? And the tail has grown dramatically, spanning about 120th of a degree in the sky. So at like arm's length, that'd be about the width of your finger. And it's driven by solar wind ejecting dust and gas. Avilob keeps saying that he thinks it's an alien. The angry astronaut keeps saying that it's an alien. I post all that because I'm open to it. Like, I want to hear what they have to say, and it's it is interesting to me. But NASA, now, how much credit do you want to give NASA? How much weight do you want to give NASA? But NASA keeps confirming that they do not think it's alien life. They don't think it's a mothership. They haven't seen course corrections and the things that would mean that it's being piloted. There's no propulsion signatures. Um, it's probably a comet. I hate to let everybody down. Okay, so the other things that we should talk about, the perihelion is going to be on October 30th. That's when it gets closest to the sun. Everything could change then. Like, things could break up. It could slightly change trajectory. By December 19th, it's going to get closest to Earth, and it'll get closest to Mars here in just a few days, right? And there's been some speculation that that there's been a course correction, and now it's going to hit Mars. So it could be that it has moved in trajectory slightly, but we're not even sure about that, and we don't know the whys. It could have something to do with how it's constructed and how gravity is affecting it. Our measurements might have been off a little bit. It's not going to hit Mars. It's not coming that close. There hasn't been that big of a course correction. When it comes closest to Earth on December 19th, it's not going to be anywhere near us. It doesn't pose a threat. It is really interesting. And I'm right there with everyone on the really interesting part. I really think this is a fascinating time, and it's opened up our eyes. And the sky watchers, the astrophysicists, people like that are becoming aware that there's probably more interstellar objects than we thought, and we need to learn more from them. And we also need to look out for ones that could be a problem. Like, what if one was headed to hit us here on Earth? What if one was going to hit the moon? What if it was going to hit Mars? There's a lot of speculation out there about different objects and where it could hit and what effect that would have. Honestly, in modern era, we just haven't had that many strikes happen to where we can study them from a definitive standpoint. We go back in the past and look at what we think might have happened. But look, as for right now, Three Eye Atlas is fascinating and it's bizarre in ways, but it's a lot of social media hype about it hitting Mars or hitting Earth. Chances are they're telling you that just to get your eyeballs. Okay, and I mean, I'm doing that. I'm broadcasting here. I'm posting this video, but I'm not making some outrageous claim to get everybody worked up and get you to share this. I've just been asked a couple questions about it, and I decided to make a video. Hope it helps.